Divorced white female. Beautiful, statuesque blonde. Witty, cultured.
Lizzie, this is your mother. Remember me?
You should give yourself credit for a lot. You're terrific.
You know, I have 5 brothers, and my mother was a clerk at a grocery store. I support them. I take care of them. I don't know you. You really don't know me.
I can't figure this guy out.
I have a present for you. You can take off your dress.
What?
You can ask me to leave.
I don't want you to leave.
Does this excite you?
Yes.
I will have you. Yes, I will have you. I will find a way, and I will have you.
I like to watch you move.
Do you like it?
I will collect you.
Aren't you gonna ask me how I like this?
Put them all on. It would mean a lot to me.
But I see danger.
But I can't concentrate. Maybe it's true love. Is this some kind of game?
It's whatever we want it to be.
Who do you think you are? You're taking a hell of a lot for granted, aren't you? I think I've been hypnotized.
But I never felt anything like this before.
How did you know I'd respond to you the way I have?
I saw myself in you.
Mickey Rourke. Kim Basinger. 9.5 weeks.
Hi, welcome to BS About Movies. This is Sam.
And Becca.
In this episode, we're going to talk about 64 3/4 days, otherwise known as 9.5 weeks. Becca picked this movie. It is from 1986.
It's one of my favorites.
It's directed by Adrian Lyne.
Mm-hmm.
Stars Mickey Rourke and Kim Basinger. It is one of her favorite movies. I have never seen it, but I have seen several of Zalman King's movies who produced it, such as The Red Shoe Diaries.
That's why I cannot believe that you have not seen this movie.
I wanted to see David Duchovny in The Red Shoe Diaries. That's why I saw it.
Oh.
So I'll tell you what this is about. I only watched Cinemax After Dark movies. I only watched really bad movies like Fanny Hill and DEBS and Hots. And
What's DEBS?
It's like these horrible 80s movies where like a frat has to get together and do stuff.
Uh-huh.
And inevitably there's like a naked car wash. Like so many movies ripped off from Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds.
Mm-hmm.
They're all universally horrible.
Yeah.
They're all Hard Bodies 2, Joysticks. It's a movie about an arcade where kids go to have sex. Young Lady Shatterly, Lady Shatterly, Emmanuel in Bangkok, Emmanuel in America, which is where the band Trap Them got their name from. Mm-hmm. Trap Them and Kill Them is what it's called. It's a sex movie. It turns into a cannibal movie halfway through it. It's horrible. Laura Gemser's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what she did?
What?
She designed the costumes for Troll 2.
You told me that, yeah.
Yes. And my favorite, Young Lady Shatterly 2, which has Sylvia Christel and Sybil Danning as a nun. I was 11. I didn't know any better. It was like, Sybil Danning. Someday I'm going to grow up and be with a very curvy blonde. That's what I said when I was 11. And 30-some years later, it came true.
Oh.
When I was 11, you were -2.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's talk about...
Your wife wasn't born yet.
I was not born. You were a zygote.
I was
You were
a sparkle.
A very fetching zygote.
I was a sequin.
You were a sequin and you're
on my mom's beaded tunic top.
Beaded tunic top.
Yes.
So let's talk about 64 3/4 days and 3 hours.
Let's talk about it.
This movie stars Elizabeth, Academy Award winner Kim Basinger. She did not win an Academy Award for this movie.
Unfortunately.
She won it for Hollywood Confidential.
L.A. Confidential.
Oh, sorry, yes. Elizabeth is
Another of my favorite movies, by the way.
Another movie I haven't seen.
Oh, that's next week.
Oh, no.
That's next episode, folks.
Elizabeth. Do we have it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Elizabeth is a Soho gallery worker, romantically uninvolved since a painful divorce. John is a wealthy commodities broker, emotionally alone, no matter who he's with. A chance meeting draws them into each other's worlds. Obsession takes them further into a mutual world of eroticism and emotional awakenings. Ooh!
You better be awakened.
With visual flair, director Adrian Lin also directed Fatal Attraction, and 1998's Lolita explores extremes of passion and surrender in 9.5 weeks, presented in an expanded version with footage not seen in a U.S. theatrical release. Passion fades, but something John and Elizabeth will always carry inside is the impact of their 9.5 weeks. Pretty exciting. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So John's name is John Gray. Is he the father of Christian Grey from 50 Shades of Grey?
No.
Or do you just think that when...
I think that they ripped this movie off and that author should be shot.
Do you know that 50 Shades of Grey started as Twilight fan fiction that she wrote on message boards?
It's horrid, whatever it is.
That's what it was. It was all about Twilight.
Don't even get me started on
And
that.
then-
I can't even go there. There's not enough
I'm a
time in a podcast.
800-year-old sparkly vampire, and yet this 14-year-old girl seems quite interesting to me.
Exactly.
Too bad the werewolves are interested in her.
With how old vampires are, they're technically pedophiles, yes.
I think they are. Mm-hmm. I would not like to think before we begin this podcast, and this has nothing to do with 9.5 weeks. Mm-hmm. Who is your favorite vampire in a movie?
Probably Lance Hendrickson from Near Dark.
Oh.
Or Bill Paxton from Near
Top
Dark.
five
They made
vampires.
vampires look badass, and that was the only If I had to join a vampire crew tomorrow,
You wouldn't
it would be with them.
You wouldn't join the crew from the Lost Boys?
No, I think Near Dark, they're more hardcore. They're freaking transients. I love them.
What about Gary Oldman?
If I wanted to be a pretty vampire, yes. But the clothes and the stuff from that movie.
From
and
Near Dark?
No, Gary Oldman from Dracula.
Yeah.
The clothes and stuff were very pretty in that movie and the time.
Yeah.
You know.
There's a lot of really... Again, this has nothing to do with 9.5 weeks. There's a lot of, crazy composite shots and, almost like comic book scenes in it where they highlight someone in one scene and they move across and the whole camera slides into the next scene. It's a pretty... I haven't seen it in a while. I bet it would look really dated now if I watched it.
The vampire... Dracula?
Dracula. Do you know who plays Renfield in Dracula?
I can see him, but I don't know his name.
Tom Waits.
Oh.
Yeah.
I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah, he's in it.
Oh.
Yes, and I'm going to eat a bug now. That's more Bob Dylan than Tom Waits.
No, he says, get me a kitten.
Oh, he does say
And
it.
he goes, No, he says a kitten. What about a cat? I know the whole movie.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I saw that at the Westgate Cinema in Newcastle.
You know where I saw that?
Where?
I wasn't even living here, but we were on vacation, and we saw it. It's not even there anymore. The one in Dormont.
South Hills Theater.
No, the one across the street from... It's at, Potomac and East Liberty.
Hollywood?
No.
Yeah, that's the South Hills Theater.
Okay, it's where the
That's-
CBS is now.
Yeah, that's where I saw Badlands.
That's where I saw that movie.
I saw Badlands and DAD there.
Oh.
Big in Denmark. Nobody knows who they are. No, nobody knows who they are. So that's about vampires. And then this movie is a sexy movie.
It is.
So perhaps parents should not listen to this episode. This movie, what is this movie rated? This is an unrated version that we have here? Ooh, this is uncut, uncensored version, which means bush.
No.
No, there's no, Kim Basinger can't grow hair.
Maybe.
She can't. She cannot grow. She has that disease, so she's like a skinless mutant, like Life Force. Did you know that?
No, I just would like to hold on to my
No.
ideal image of her being in half of my favorite movies.
What other favorite movies of...
Blind Date.
Okay.
My Stepmother's an Alien.
I'll give you that.
LA Confidential.
I've never seen it, but I'll give you that.
Um,
Batman.
Yes, Vicky Vale.
Vicky Vale.
Her clothes in that movie were phenomenal.
Uh-huh.
As in it's really hard for me because when you see her in magazines and stuff,
Yeah.
she's always got on sweats. The clothes that she wore in all of the movies she's ever been in
Yeah.
We're too amazing for words.
What's your favorite Mickey Rourke movies?
All of them.
You haven't seen The Wrestler, though.
That's the only one I haven't seen.
So
I went on a binge where when I first saw 9.5 Weeks, I was probably 9 or 10. And I thought he was.
You were 9.5 years old.
I was.
Would you watch
9.5 weeks.
Okay.
I went on a binge because I was like, oh my God, who is this handsome man? But of course, we all know that he does not, no longer looks the way he does in this movie.
Yeah.
In fact, he's quite scary. But I literally watched every single Mickey Rourke movie. I printed off a filmography. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And I watched them all except for The Wrestler.
Did you know?
Because when I did it, that wasn't out at the time.
Did you know that he lost 40 pounds for this movie?
I believe it.
Yeah, and also, here's something interesting. To get the performance that Kim Basinger did in this movie, they Adrian Lynn psychologically manipulated her for the entire movie.
He would have to. You can tell this isn't her.
So here's how he did
the
it.
acting, the movie itself is wonderful. I do love it.
He claims that he was just downright shitty to her. Anytime he would talk to her, he would just sneer at her and then just tell her minimal directions, where he would take Mickey Rourke aside, talk to him, give him notes, tell him how things were. So after each cut, he'd be like, Mickey, that was great. Can we slow it down a little bit? Can you add a little bit to this line? And she would be like, do I have any direction? And he'd go, I'm not talking to you. Action. And then she would be upset. So by the end of the movie, when she's really emotionally vulnerable, she really was like that because he had not talked to her for 6 weeks of shooting.
You haven't seen this movie?
No, I just read that. I've done my research. I've seen plenty of other movies influenced by this movie. Yeah. When I was 11. I didn't watch them with sound. We would just switch. That scene in American Pie where he's trying to fiddle it in to get in the picture. That's what I do.
Oh, my husband.
Yep.
Boys will be boys.
Actually, my favorite one is Bo Derek's Bolero, which is the movie that pretty much sunk her career. Either that or Tarzan the Ape Man, where a monkey sucks her boob, which made no sense to me. But I didn't make that up. I'm just reporting it. Why would you have that scene? I'm like, you know what? I know the script is challenging, and I know there's a lot of nudity, Bo, but if it's for the story, will you let a chimpanzee lick your boob? Oh, of course. My husband's directing it, John Derek. His first wife, do you know his first wife was?
Yeah.
Linda Evans, TV's Dynasty.
I know.
Who eventually, after that, dated the guy who played the one guy with the long hair that played new age music.
Kenny G?
No, I can't.
Michael Bolton.
No.
Andre Bocelli.
Not Zamfir. I can't remember. But yeah, she was with him, and then she was also a big advocate of this guy named Zontar, who was she was into past lives and regression stuff. She was a big 80s Inquirer person between her and Joan Collins, because they were both the Dynasty women. Teens enough about the 80s, please. I lived through them. Right, Angelo? That's our dog, Angelo, if you have not listened to an episode before. So we're going to get 9.5 Weeks started. We did about 9.5 minutes of the opening on vampires and how Becca watched us at 9.
My husband trying to watch porn when he was 11.
I was not 9 watching 9.5 Weeks.
But I was mature. Girls are more mature than both men any
not
day.
At 9.
I knew what was going on.
You knew what was going on?
Yes.
How did you watch it at 9? Was it
Parents didn't care.
Or did you watch it with them?
My dad was probably taking a nap, and my mom was busy doing something. I was left alone.
There is nothing worse than when you rent a movie for your parents, when you're older. You come oh, we should all watch this movie on HBO together, and there's a really raunchy sex scene.
It happens all the time.
Oh, it's the worst.
Well, think about it. All the movies I only watched with my parents were either sci-fi or horror.
Yeah.
So what are those mostly filled with? Sex.
Oh, lots of boobs.
Oh.
I watch Life Force with them. It's 90%.
Imagine my parents sitting on two ends of the couch with two little kids in the middle all the time. So weird.
What do you think the worst...
That's what's wrong with me.
What is the worst movie you've watched with your parents?
I probably couldn't even tell you. There's been so many.
Solo, 120 Days of
But
Sodom.
you have to have my dad be a guest one day because his famous line is always, this is in the days of Blockbuster and Value Video and whatnot.
Yeah.
My mom would go to the video store and take us, and we'd all rent some movies, but my mom would we would rent movies for ourselves and then she would rent movies for us all to watch together. And every single movie my mom always brought home was filled with loads of nudity. My dad would sit on the one end of the couch and scream at her during the movie, "Jackie, you renting this for the kids?" And she'd be like, "I didn't know this was in there." And it would ruin 30 minutes of the movie by them arguing about why did she rent this.
We want to start the movie, but I have one other story I'd like to tell.
Yes.
We used to go to a store called Primetime Video in Elwood City, where I'm from. And my favorite movies now, not as a kid, but now, are rip-offs of really great movies. So there is a movie called Invaders of the Golden Temple. The box art, everything looks exactly like Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's actually on one of the trailer compilations we have, and the trailer is amazing. The movie is 2 hours of, like, travelogue footage of, like, you know, like, they just got B-roll footage of a jungle, and, like, it's, like, 20 minutes in the jungle. I was totally expecting the most exciting, interesting movie ever, and it was horrible. And it was, like, when you're young, and you don't realize movies can be bad yet. There's a time in your life where...
Where it didn't affect you.
Well,
And it doesn't... But I've also never lost that because there's a lot of movies I don't let affect me, even though I know they're horrible.
Have you ever thought about that? Like, what's the first movie that people thought sucked? Like, when The Great Train Robbery came out, do you know what I mean? And, like, people would go to the Nickelodeon and watch these movies. And
I don't know, because I probably would have thought they were great.
People are like, these movies are great. And then at some point, like a year and a half in, like, once people stopped thinking they were magic and rioting because of, like, I can't believe these moving pictures are on a screen, someone's like, you know what? This movie kind of sucks. I wonder what the first movie that sucked was.
I don't know. I mean, when you look back at those ones with the, you know, Attack of the Spider People and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they were giant bugs on sticks and the special effects.
You mean like the Killer Shrews?
Do you think that they knew?
Where they had dogs with carpets and fangs in?
Yeah, I mean, do you think people knew at that time how bad those were?
Honestly, I think those were drive-in movies. And I think people were necking.
I'm not watching the movie.
They weren't. Are we going to watch 9.5 Weeks or not? Are we going to just tell people we did?
We're going to do both.
Both. Radio. Hey, radio. Do you want to watch 9.5 Weeks or make out with your wife? Both.
Both.
I told Dan that we were going to do, this was our second movie for the podcast, and he's like, I don't want to listen to you and your wife talk about 9.5 Weeks. I hope right now he's sitting in Big Dog Coffee because that's where he listens to podcasts. And he hears this. And one, he gets excited because he's like, oh, they're talking about me. And two, guess what, fucker? You're listening to us talk about 9.5 weeks. 64 and 3/4 days, 3 hours, 2 minutes, 11 seconds of Mickey Rourke and Kim Basinger.
And Angela.
Do you think Alec Baldwin has this on DVD?
Well, they're not married anymore.
Yeah, but I don't think he wants to see her anymore.
No, so I think he probably threw it out.
Do you think he had it at some point?
Yes, I do.
Do you think... I don't think if I was Angelo and said, careful, Ange. Ange, if you were married and you were married to a beautiful starlet and she did a lot of movies where, like, dudes, like, railed her, would you want to watch it? That's interesting. All right, well, let's begin 9.5 Weeks.
It's refreshment time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
We've a large assortment of freshly made sandwiches. How about a pizza? None better anywhere. Sizzling hamburgers grilled to your taste. Mouth-watering chili dillies.
Dog days, hot dog days that is, somehow have a way of turning out to be fun days. The pop and sizzle of the juicy meat seems to say, come and get me, I'm done to a turn. Yep, hungry or not, it's hard to resist the tantalizing aroma and taste appeal of a sizzling hot dog. The nice part of it is, there's one waiting for you right now at the refreshment stand.
So we just watched 9.5 Weeks.
Is your life better or worse?
I don't know how my life is.
You're in between.
I think I'm kind of in between. I can tell you some facts about it that I researched about it.
Yes.
Elizabeth always wears white or colorful clothing, except when she's with John when she wears black and gray. It was based on the movie Dial M for Murder.
Oh.
Pretty interesting. She used body doubles throughout the movie. Kathleen Turner was originally offered the female role.
I could see that. She's too manly.
Turned it down. Cataline Turner, as she refers to herself now.
Yeah.
Tatum O'Neal also turned down the
They
role.
all look alike.
Sigourney Weaver, Andy McDowell, Terry Garrett doesn't make no sense at all.
She's like a grandma then.
Demi Moore, Isabella Rossellini,
Yeah.
and Dominique Sanda
Yeah.
were all considered for the role.
Yeah.
It was originally going to be a TriStar movie, but they couldn't get an R rating. Yeah. Ronnie Wood's in it.
Yeah.
In the original, this is based on a true story by Elizabeth McNeil. The film stays true to the book, except the book is more explicit and disturbing because she basically became a sexual prisoner. She was handcuffed to a coffee table most of the time, unable to do even the simplest things for herself, such as brush her own hair, where he ended up hospitalized at the end of the 9.5 weeks. So they played down those parts.
Yeah, she didn't go to the hospital.
And they kept the eroticism. I mean, I don't think it's that erotic to have to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
After this happens. Another interesting thing I learned about this movie was that when they tested it in the first screening, they showed it to 1,000 people. All but 36 people, or all but 40 people, walked out of the test screening. They hated it so much. And then of the 40 people left, they said they polled the mess. They thought 36 of them hated it and stuck around to tell them how much they hated it. But those 4 people
loved it.
They were all fucking.
Baby.
They all hooked up. They all got married, and they had like a Bob and Carol Pedernales kind of thing. And they've been a quad couple since this movie came out. I really think
it did. I read about it too. It said it did very well in Europe and overseas.
It's a very European movie. Whoever did the lighting for this movie is the best lighting guy ever, because there's no CGI or like computer assisted stuff. This is all a lot of natural light, but then a lot of big light. That scene where they get chased by the fat guys and she stabs a guy in the butt. The sex scene after that is, this is how you can tell I'm a film idiot. I was like, this scene is lit so well. I can't believe how
well. Don't mind the people having sex. He's like, look at this lighting.
Look at this lighting.
Yeah.
This lighting is gorgeous. Sumptuous.
Sumptuous lighting.
What do I always say? It's scrumptious. No. Delicious.
No, you use another word.
It was whatever it was. It was.
It was it.
Whatever it is, that scene had it.
Yes.
So I learned a lot about my wife from this movie. I learned that this is where she learned about reggae.
No.
I learned where a lot of her clothes choices come from.
Yeah.
I learned her love of Mickey Rourke.
Yes.
Came from this movie.
No, it actually came from Angel Heart, but
a lot of the music in this movie is really music that my wife
geared towards your wife.
Yeah. I think that in the 80s, women wore too many clothes. Angela agrees. Every outfit's like a slip with something else under it. I guess that is, sexy.
Yeah, but it was just normal back then.
So, Zalman King, who wrote this, he played Jesus in a movie that was about the conspiracy of how Jesus really wasn't the Son of God. What? Yeah, he was in Blue Sunshine, which is an awesome movie about hippies that do this drug, like LSD in the 60s, and years later, it turns them into zombies. And he is in... I
think we either watched that or saw the trailer for that.
Yeah, and he's in Galaxy of Terror, which is the Roger Corman movie with Sid Haig and Aaron Moran and all those different actors that has the really lengthy alien rape scene that is like the rip-off version of Alien. But that's one of Zalman King's last acting roles before he started writing movies. Then he wrote almost any sex movie you saw on Showtime, like Red Shoe Diaries and Another 9.5 Weeks and a previous 9.5 Weeks. All those kind of... what was the other one?
Lifetime / HBO.
Blue Orchid. Another Blue Orchid.
Yeah. A bouquet of blue orchids.
A bouquet of blue orchids. He did all those. So, Adrian Lynn, of course, went on to do Fatal Attraction after this. And then kind of gave up movie making for a while. He has a new movie out this year.
What is it?
It is An Unfaithful Wife, I believe it's called, and it's getting pretty good reviews. It's very much an art movie. I think at one point he was like he did all these kind of like sexy message movies, like Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a comedy when I saw it.
When you watch, I mean, we now own Fatal Attraction.
Oh.
Bought it recently, remember?
Yes.
When you watch it again soon,
Yeah.
it's the same lighting guy.
It is. He probably had the same crew he used all the time.
And the clothes are the same.
The clothes are very similar.
Everything.
Glenn Close not as attractive.
No.
Anywhere near as attractive.
No.
As Kim Basinger. I don't find Kim Basinger that attractive.
You want to know a funny Glenn Close thing that I never forget?
What's that?
You might not know because I don't think you've seen it. Have you seen Hook?
I've seen Hook.
Do you remember in the beginning when they first get on the pirate ship and they put that guy in the box with the things?
Yeah.
It's Glenn Close.
Ah.
The boo box.
Wow.
It is. I never knew that. My mom told me.
Do we have Hook?
No, we need to buy it. But yeah, for all of you people out there who like sex movies and Hook, it's Glenn Close.
Actually, there's a theory that Stephen King's a pedophile and Hook is a very pedophilic movie. This is on conspiracy theory sites. This isn't like a wildly thought out thing. You don't think that?
No.
I don't want to ruin your childhood.
Thank you.
So what is your review of 9.5 Weeks on an A to F scale?
A B plus.
A B plus.
Yeah.
This is one of your favorite movies, and it only gets a B plus.
There's other ones that are better.
What takes it from? What is it missing from being an A?
There's parts that they could have taken out.
Okay.
There's unnecessary parts.
Yeah.
All the beach running around, all the balloons, all the hat throwing, all that. That's what takes away from it. There could have been. It's supposed to be a sex movie. There could have been more sex. No, we're chasing each other down the beach again.
This movie could have been done in half an hour. That's why when he did Red Shoe Diaries, it's this movie in half an hour.
Yeah.
I think one thing that there's a lot of stuff that you're like, why is this in it? Like the subplot with her ex-husband dating her friend. It doesn't matter. Her working in an art gallery doesn't matter. Like all the scenes of her working there, none of that matters. Her meeting the dude.
Well, I think
her meeting the artist dude doesn't matter.
It does because she kept looking at him as a normal way of life, and this relationship she was in was not normal. And that's where you saw the kids swinging and the artist.
There's
and he's just normal and
a lot of fish
staying out of the limelight.
A lot of fish being chopped up and fish being eaten and fish being held and a lot of rats being eaten. There's a lot of weird food stuff in this movie.
The fish is a symbol of love.
It's a symbol of Jesus, actually. But I don't think that ties into this movie. There's a scene, speaking of fish, there's a scene where a kid says he'll fart in the thing from Jaws.
That wasn't necessary. That's what got the beat.
Do you think those kids were just hanging around the set and they're like, hey, Adrian Lynn? And he's like, what up, governor? And he's like, hey, Adrian Lynn, do you want to hear us fart the thing from Jaws? Oh, blimey, cool, blimey, let's hear it. And then he did it and he goes, I'm going to put you in my motion picture.
Was he Irish or Scottish?
His accent is all things.
No?
He actually was a advertising director, and he didn't think he would ever do film until Kubrick called him and said, how did you light this scene? Because it looks beautiful. And he was like, wow, Stanley Kubrick's asking me how I shot something. So he broke in with Ridley Scott. A lot of the 80s British-based directors all came from advertising. Versus
Jerry Bruckheimer, they call him out in the movie.
Yeah, they call him in the department store. Also, but then the next wave of directors would come from. That's what I wanted to check. I thought maybe he came from music videos because a lot of this movie is pretty much like 10 music videos put together. It is. I'll leave your hat on song is just a music video.
I know. Is it what you thought it would be or no?
It is, but I thought it would be sexier.
Yeah.
I guess for
when it came out, maybe
for 1986, I'm sure this scandalized people.
Yes.
It's no Last Tango in Paris. I think I give it a B minus. Like I was certainly entertained. I enjoyed dancing to most of the movie. There's a lot.
You missed the dancing.
There's a lot of music in this movie that I could do interpretive water ballet style in bed dancing to, which is exciting for me. I think there was a lot of. If you like the Eurythmics and Brian Ferry.
Which I do.
This explains why my wife loves Brian Ferry so much. My wife also revealed to me that when she was 11, she painted the cover of this movie and had it for years. I wish she had not thrown this away. Did you sell it? Did you sell it at a yard sale?
No, I just got rid of it.
You didn't sell it at Trader Jack's?
No.
Oh, I wish we still had that painting because I would put it up in our bedroom.
I know, on the ceiling.
On the ceiling. I'm going to make a fake box art of this for you of our cats, Lola and Andy, in the position from 9.5 weeks. Except I think that
9.5 lives.
I think Lola is in charge of the relationship.
She is. She's the master.
The master. I kind of like the view of old 42nd Street. You can see some old grindhouses as they ran through. There's a lot of old New York in this, which is kind of cool. The beginning scenes maybe 10 minutes of this are some of the most racist 10 minutes of a movie where like it's like every single group and it's like, here's the black people and here's the Italian people. And hey, the Jewish guy that works with her, when he orders food, everybody has a croissant and a Danish and he's like, I'll just have water with lemon and sweet and low. And don't make him charge for it.
Because I'm a Jew.
Because I'm Jewish. Oh, here's a dime, Moishi. That's what it was like. It was way over the top. I guess in the 80s, you could just be racist.
You could. It hadn't hit home yet.
It had. I mean, people cried at night because of how they were talked to, but
they didn't share.
They didn't share.
They didn't go on Facebook.
They didn't go on Facebook and say, I need a safe place.
That's when the days were good.
When days were good.
Racism was hidden.
I don't think it was good. Baby. So I'm
sick of hearing about it.
No. Just people were, I don't like that people are like, I need a safe place. And someone said this to me. It's like, well, sometimes you have to get over some shit. I admit that some things are wrong, but sometimes you have to get over some shit.
Yes.
So 9.5 weeks.
What do I say? I say, build a bridge and get the fuck over it.
I never heard you say that.
I say it all the time. At least I think it in my head. I usually say it in my head to someone. Not you. No. Never you.
I did
just random people that I meet.
I did not fall asleep during 9.5 weeks.
It's true.
I did a lot of dancing. I think that kept me awake. I think that they didn't get back together.
No.
I think this was it. I think
in the supposed sequel, it's not even her.
Do you think
he talks about it as the whole movie, if you're Angie Everhart, it really sucks because you get compared to the first girl the whole time.
You want to hear something funny?
What?
Angie Everhart was asked who the best lover she ever had was.
Mickey Rourke.
Howard Stern.
Gross.
No, she said he was really giving and like a really great lover.
Ugh.
I'm just saying. He may have mentioned it on the show 1,000 times.
I may have to, if I was ever in that position, would have had to put a bag over his head. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I know you love him.
I do love him.
Yes.
I think he's wonderful.
Yes.
Anywho, 9.5 weeks. I think it was good. I was expecting like to be scandalized by it.
No.
I was expecting like when I saw Bolero how I felt, and and Young Lady Shirley but I was like 11 and I'm like, what? That's back when I was that young. I thought.
Don't tell us.
I know, I'll tell you. No, I thought that I didn't know the difference between what boys and girls' privates looked like.
Oh, no.
And I thought girls had like a Y-shaped thing that was like 2 penises.
Oh, boy.
I didn't know. I didn't have health class yet.
Thank God we found out, huh?
I was 11. I didn't see one for like another 13 or 14 years. So for 14 years, I lived with this mystery.
With the Y's.
I mean, people worry about life after death. I had a much greater mystery of what was I going to see.
What was down there?
What's down there?
Do you have 2 Y's?
Do you have 2 Y's? Do you wrap them around?
Oh, God.
Do we make kindling with it?
I can't wait to tell our future children the story.
Right now, my parents...
When they ask us a sex question, I'm going to say, you know what? Your dad thought that. This will come back.
There's even worse things I thought. But my
Probably don't tell me.
God, I hope my parents aren't sitting at like 4 a.m. in their living room listening to this, just shocked at how stupid they're
2 Y's. 2 Y's. And both your parents were teachers.
But I was afraid to ask.
Oh.
I couldn't even talk to girls.
I know.
I was just like, hey, you know what? You don't know this much about the X-Men. There's a lot of dudes that started sleeping with girls when they're 12 and 13. And I'm sure they're doing well now. But can they tell you the whole history of the X-Men and that who Renee Sinclair is? No, they
No, and that's why I married you.
They can't. They don't know that Captain Britain and Psylocke are brother and sister. They don't need to know that. And their brother, Brian Braddock's evil. They don't need to know that. Anyways, I think we've gone off for 9.5 weeks. So 9.5 weeks, I think it was fun to watch. The music's really cheesy now. The music has not aged well. Some of it has. But the Leave Your Hat On song has not aged well.
Well, what always bothered me about that was that, I saw this movie and then that is one of my dad's absolute favorite songs. Oh. So not only did I used to have to listen to it all the time.
Oh, we would just play this around the house?
Yeah,
it's like a stripper song.
Him and Uncle Jeff and everybody, they went to Joe Cocker's concert in the 90s.
Oh, that's a Joe Cocker song?
Oh, yeah, that's who sang it. They went.
I thought your dad just had random stripper music.
My dad would buy the tape, the CD, the T-shirt, everything, wear it around the house, play the music while he was cleaning. He'd be cleaning the kitchen, listening to "Leave Your Hat On."
Did he have his hat on?
If any of my family listens to this, AJ, Natalie, anybody will know exactly what I'm talking about. Andrew.
And you know what's funny?
Remember when Uncle Jeff, just for family members, remember when Uncle Jeff and my dad went through their Joe Cocker phase?
But all these 9-year-olds are like, oh, that's the song from 9.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
sad.
It's very strange to me. So anyway, that's 9.5 weeks. What movie's next?
Oh.
What in 9.5 weeks? We did Cat's Eye?
Yes.
And we did 9.5 weeks.
Yes.
What do they have in common? Other than the fact that we watched them.
That's about it. Both 80s movies.
Both 80s movies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to pick a movie now, or do you want it to be a surprise for the next time for the people that listen?
I think it'll be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise?
It'll be a surprise, or it'll be, Steel Magnolias. I don't know.
No.
Drink the juice, Shelby.
I'm not ready for it.
You won't be able to talk afterwards, that's why.
Can we watch Black Steel Magnolias? No. Okay. We should do that where it's like
it's not the same movie.
Point counterpoint, where we watch Black Annie and White Annie, or we watch Black About Last Night and then the Demi Moore About Last Night. What if Demi Moore had been in this movie? I don't think it would have been as good.
No.
The other thing I was thinking is they really set up how rich he is with his fancy CD player. That CD player would have cost $3.99 today.
Yeah, you could have got it at Dollar General.
You could have just been like,
I want one with a spinning cassette tape.
When that came out, people were like, holy shit.
When that came out, that was probably $3,000.
Look at that fucking CD player.
He worked on Wall Street. He got that Wall Street money.
He's got a computer with almost $640K on it.
He had he had the 4 monitors going in his apartment. And what'd you say? What is he watching?
He was watching a test pattern.
When you're in business, you watch test patterns in the 80s.
Yeah. You know what? If we watch this test pattern...
that it's on one of your screens.
A lot of people know that money patterns follow the test pattern. The bigger the red is, the better the money the next day does.
There you go.
So was he successful and driven? And then he did this.
Mm-hmm.
I really think 50 Shades of Grey is just this movie.
It is.
It's like a shittier version of this with Dakota Johnson in it.
Who I can't fathom being just because her dad's John Johnson.
Her mom was in Body Double.
Yeah.
Which is a much better movie than any movie we've discussed tonight.
Yes.
And it's a very derivative Brian De Palma movie, but I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I did see that when I was 12, and I was not ready for that movie when I was 12. Because it's pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Melanie Griffith at that time, Melanie Griffith had this is just my theory on her. She had a really good run from Cherry 2000, Body Double. After Working Girl, I didn't find her attractive anymore.
Well, she started having stuff done to her face.
Exactly. She started getting so much stuff done, I didn't find her attractive.
She looked okay. They made her decent. Do you remember Milk Money?
No.
Oh.
Man.
Ed Harris. Where they take the stripper to
no
the
one
small
can see
town.
this. My wife literally did a cha-cha kick up in the air, like, I'm 50, and kicked up. I love Ed Harris. I love Milk Money, and I'm 50.
Yeah.
Melissa, tell me about Milk Money.
But that was one of the last movies in the 90s where she looked normal.
She looks great.
She
looks great in Body Double.
She had stuff done.
She plays Holly Body in
But I
that
mean,
movie.
you could tell that she had stuff done.
Yeah.
But they still made her look normal.
That movie has my favorite Brian De Palma shot in it.
What?
Whenever she's...
The spinning camera.
The spinning camera. And the one in Carrie goes on for like 15 or 20 seconds.
That's okay.
And you're like, oh, that's kind of ridiculous shot, but it's only 15 or 20 seconds. The one in Body Double goes on for 2.5 minutes. Like, it is, like, nauseating, but awesome. When I was a kid, though, so, you know, today, like, movies come out, like, 6 weeks on DVD, or we download them or whatever. I would never get to see these movies, much less R-rated movies. So I only knew about the movies from Mad Magazine. So, like, I knew Dressed to Kill from the Mad Magazine parody of it, and I knew Body Double from it. So when I saw Body Double on HBO, I'm like, this is so much better than the Mad Magazine story that I read.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I tell you my story about getting slapped about HBO? No. So I realized one of the problems I had was when I was a kid, I was faster than my mouth. And by that I mean I would get excited and I would run out and say something, and I had already started running, so you didn't hear the first part of what I said. You just heard the second.
Oh, yeah.
So I was staying at my grandparents, and everybody else was in the outside. Of course, I was inside watching movies. That's why my wife and I got married, because we're very similar. And I was watching the end of this James Bond movie. At the end, it always says, James Bond will return in, you know, the next movie.
Octopussy.
And it said Octopussy, yeah. So I came running out, and in the living room, I said Octo. I said, oh my God, guys, James Bond is coming back in Octo. By the time I got to the back porch, imagine a chubby little 10-year-old running out going, Pussy! Wham! Dropped to the ground. I just want to tell you about James Bond.
My baby would get beat
Just
up.
bursting, sliding glass door, almost running through it. So excited, out of breath. Pussy! I didn't want to see Octopussy. I was so upset. I'm like, why would they name it that? Why would they call it that? Why would they call a movie that?
Okay, Octopussy.
Spoiler warning. That's not what it's about.
No.
It's got a little tiny plane. It's got a Fabergé egg. It's got like a bunch of dudes fighting in the ice. It's not that good. Wrap it up, my wife said, so we are taking it home.
I said, wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up, B. You see what that box says? It says, wrap it up. Anyway, that's it for this show. Thank you so much. From Sam.
And Becca.
This has been BS About Movies. And we'll see you next time.